What happens if you pour vinegar directly onto a hydrangea? I've seen people do it in viral gardening clips. I've seen the comment sections explode with debate, and I've tested it myself in my own garden more times than I can count. And let me tell you, the result is not what most people expect. In fact, depending on how you do it, you'll either transform your hydrangea into the most stunning, deep blue blooming machine you've ever seen, or you'll watch it wither and die within a week. So before you grab that bottle of vinegar from your kitchen shelf, you need to hear everything I'm about to share in this video. Stay with me, because the difference between a gorgeous hydrangea and a dead one comes down to a few details most people completely overlook. Now, before we dive in, if you're the kind of person who loves getting their hands dirty, who wants real, no-nonsense growing advice without the fluff, do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe button down below. I drop practical gardening videos like this every single week, and I'd hate for you to miss the next one. It's free, it takes 1 second, and it helps this little community grow. Alright, let's get into it. So, let's talk about what's actually inside that bottle of vinegar you've got sitting in your pantry. Because if you're going to pour something onto a living plant, you need to understand exactly what you're working with. Vinegar, at its core, is a dilute solution of acetic acid in water. Standard white household vinegar, the kind you'd use for salad dressing or cleaning, contains roughly 5% acetic acid and 95% water. Some stronger varieties, like cleaning vinegar or horticultural vinegar, can push that acetic acid concentration up to 10, 20, or even 30%. And that number matters enormously. I'll explain why in a moment. Acetic acid is a simple organic compound. Its chemical formula is CH3COOH. When it hits soil or plant tissue, it does a very specific thing. It releases hydrogen ions. Those hydrogen ions are what lower the pH of whatever they touch. Lower pH means more acidic. And acidity, as we'll see shortly, is the single most important factor when it comes to hydrangea color and health. But vinegar isn't just acetic acid and water. Depending on the type you're using, it can carry small traces of other compounds. Apple cider vinegar, for example, contains tiny amounts of potassium, calcium, magnesium, and iron left over from the apple fermentation process. It also contains trace amino acids and enzymes. Now, I want to be honest with you here. These trace amounts are extremely small. You are not fertilizing your hydrangea with vinegar. The mineral content is negligible compared to what a proper fertilizer delivers. The star of the show in vinegar is the acetic acid, and its job is to shift pH, not to feed the plant directly. Vinegar also has mild antimicrobial properties. Acetic acid can disrupt the cell membranes of certain bacteria and fungi. In very dilute forms, this can help suppress some surface-level soil pathogens. But again, this is a secondary, minor effect. The primary dominant action of vinegar in a garden context is acidification. It makes things more acidic, full stop. One more thing to understand. Acetic acid is what we call a weak acid. That means it doesn't fully dissociate in water. It partially breaks apart, releasing hydrogen ions gradually. In practical terms, this means vinegar's effect on soil pH is real but temporary. Soil has buffering capacity. Organic matter, clay particles, and dissolved minerals in your soil will resist the pH change over time. So vinegar's acidifying effect is not permanent. It fades. And that's actually important information for how and when you apply it, which we'll cover later. So that's vinegar. Acetic acid, mostly water, a whisper of trace minerals, and a temporary acidifying punch. Keep that picture in your mind, because now we need to talk about what your hydrangea actually needs, and this is where the connection gets really interesting. Hydrangeas are fascinating plants, and their nutritional requirements are a little different from your average garden shrub. Let's break down what they need to truly thrive. First, and most importantly, hydrangeas need acidic to slightly acidic soil. Most hydrangea varieties, especially the popular big leaf hydrangea, Hydrangea macrophylla, perform best in soil with a pH between 5.2 and 6.2. Some varieties tolerate a slightly higher range up to about 6.5, but they genuinely prefer that acidic side. Why? Because soil pH controls nutrient availability. In acidic soil, certain critical nutrients become soluble and accessible to the roots. In alkaline soil, those same nutrients lock up and become unavailable no matter how much fertilizer you add. The most dramatic example of this is aluminum. Hydrangeas are one of the very few plants that actively absorb aluminum from the soil and use it in their petal tissue to produce blue pigments. But aluminum is only soluble and available to roots in acidic conditions, typically below a pH of about 5.5. If your soil pH creeps up above 6, the aluminum binds to soil particles and the hydrangea simply cannot access it. The result? Your blooms shift from blue to pink or purple. So for anyone chasing those gorgeous deep blue hydrangea flowers, maintaining soil acidity is non-negotiable. Beyond pH, hydrangeas need a solid supply of standard macronutrients. Nitrogen drives leafy vegetative growth. It keeps those big, broad hydrangea leaves lush and green. Phosphorus supports root development and flower formation. Potassium strengthens cell walls, improves drought tolerance, and helps the plant move sugars and water efficiently through its tissues. A balanced fertilizer with roughly equal parts nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, something like a 10-10-10 or a 12-4-8, works well during the growing season. On the micronutrient side, hydrangeas benefit from iron, manganese, and magnesium. Iron and manganese, in particular, are more available in acidic soil. If your soil is too alkaline, you'll often see hydrangea leaves turning yellow between the veins while the veins themselves stay green. That's a classic sign of iron chlorosis, and it's a pH problem, not necessarily a nutrient deficiency problem. The iron is there, but the plant can't grab it because the pH is too high. Hydrangeas also need consistent moisture. They are thirsty plants. Their large leaves lose water quickly through transpiration, and their root systems prefer cool, evenly moist soil rich in organic matter. Mulching heavily around the base helps retain that moisture and keeps root zone temperatures stable. Now here's where the connection to vinegar becomes clear and satisfying. Remember, vinegar's primary action is releasing hydrogen ions and lowering pH. Hydrangeas need acidic soil to unlock aluminum for blue blooms, to keep iron and manganese soluble, and to maintain overall nutrient uptake efficiency. So, vinegar, used correctly, acts as a pH adjustment tool. It nudges the soil into that acidic sweet spot where the hydrangea's root system can actually access everything it needs. It doesn't replace fertilizer. It doesn't replace water or organic matter, but it can be the key that unlocks the chemistry already present in your soil. That's the real connection, and once you understand it, everything else in this video makes perfect sense. Now, let's talk about benefits, and then I need to give you a very serious warning. So please listen carefully. Used correctly in proper dilution, vinegar can be a simple, inexpensive, and effective way to lower your soil pH by a small amount. If your hydrangea's blooms have been drifting toward pink and you want to encourage bluer tones, a gentle vinegar application can help tip the soil chemistry back toward acidity. It can also help correct mild iron chlorosis by making iron more available in the root zone. Gardeners with slightly alkaline tap water, which gradually raises soil pH over time with every watering, can use dilute vinegar to counteract that slow alkaline creep. It's a practical, accessible tool, and it costs almost nothing. And for organic-minded gardeners, vinegar is appealing because it's a natural product. No synthetic chemicals, no industrial processing, just fermented acetic acid. But here's the warning, and I need you to take this seriously. Vinegar is an acid. Acids burn. If you pour undiluted or poorly diluted vinegar directly onto your hydrangea's roots, stems, or leaves, you will cause chemical damage. Acetic acid disrupts cell membranes on contact. At high concentrations, it literally destroys plant tissue. The leaves will brown and crisp at the edges. The fine feeder roots, the ones responsible for absorbing water and nutrients, will be scorched. And once those feeder roots are damaged, the plant cannot hydrate itself properly. It wilts, it declines, and in severe cases, it dies. I've seen it happen. A well-meaning gardener pours a cup of straight vinegar around the base of a hydrangea thinking more is better. Within 3 days, the leaves are drooping. Within a week, the edges are burnt brown. The plant goes into shock, and by the second week, it's struggling to recover, if it recovers at all. So the rule is simple and non-negotiable. You must dilute. You must apply carefully, and you must never ever pour vinegar on the foliage or directly onto exposed roots. The soil is the target, and even then, it needs to be heavily diluted. Treat vinegar with respect. It's a tool, not a miracle cure, and in the wrong hands, it does more harm than good. All right, let's get practical. Here is exactly how to prepare and apply vinegar to your hydrangea safely and effectively. Follow these steps in order. Step 1. Choose the right vinegar. Use plain, standard white distilled vinegar at 5% acetic acid concentration. Do not use cleaning vinegar, horticultural vinegar, or any product labeled above 5% for this purpose. Those higher concentrations are far too aggressive for garden use around desirable plants. Apple cider vinegar at 5% also works, but avoid any vinegar with added sugars, flavorings, or colorings. Step 2. Prepare your dilution. In a clean watering can or bucket, mix 1 tablespoon of 5% vinegar into 1 gallon of water. That's roughly 15 milliliters of vinegar per 4 liters of water. Stir it gently to combine. This gives you a very mild acidic solution, roughly a 0.05% acetic acid concentration in the final mix. That's gentle enough to nudge soil pH without scorching roots. Step 3. Check your soil moisture first. Before you apply, make sure the soil around your hydrangea is already slightly moist. Never apply vinegar solution to bone-dry soil. Dry soil concentrates the acid right at the root surface and increases the risk of damage. Give the plant a light watering with plain water about an hour before your vinegar application if the soil feels dry. Step 4. Apply to the soil, not the plant. Slowly pour the diluted vinegar solution onto the soil around the base of the hydrangea. Aim for the drip line, which is the area on the ground directly beneath the outer edge of the branches. That's where the majority of the active feeder roots are located. Pour gently, evenly, and avoid splashing any solution onto the stems or leaves. Use about 1 gallon of the diluted solution per established hydrangea shrub. For a young, small plant, cut that amount in half. Step 5. Follow with a light plain water rinse of the surrounding soil. After about 15 to 20 minutes, give the area a gentle watering with plain water. This helps distribute the acid more evenly through the top layer of soil and prevents any concentrated pockets from sitting too close to one group of roots. Step 6. Clean up. Rinse your watering can or bucket thoroughly with plain water afterward so no residual acid sits in the container and accidentally gets stronger through evaporation before your next use. That's it. 6 steps, simple, safe, and effective when done right. No fancy equipment needed, just vinegar, water, a watering can, and a little care. Now, timing is everything. And this is where a lot of people go wrong, so pay close attention. Let's start with when you should not use vinegar on your hydrangea. Do not apply it during the heat of summer, especially when temperatures are above 85 degrees Fahrenheit or about 30 degrees Celsius. Heat stress combined with even mild acid exposure can overwhelm the plant. Do not apply it during a drought or when the plant is already showing signs of water stress, wilting, or leaf scorch. Do not apply it to a freshly transplanted hydrangea. Give a new transplant at least 6 to 8 weeks to establish its root system before introducing any soil amendments, including vinegar. Do not apply vinegar during the plant's dormant winter period. The roots are not actively cycling nutrients, and the acid will simply sit in the soil doing nothing useful while potentially disrupting beneficial soil microbes. And do not apply it if your soil is already acidic. If a soil test shows your pH is below 5.2, adding more acid can push conditions too far and start leaching essential nutrients out of the root zone. Test first. Always test first if you can. Also avoid applying vinegar right before a heavy rain. The rain will wash the dilute acid away before it has time to interact meaningfully with the soil, and you'll waste your effort. So when is the ideal time? Early spring, just as the hydrangea is breaking dormancy and you see the first small green buds swelling on the stems, is the best window. The soil is warming up, the roots are becoming active, and the plant is about to push a full season of growth and bloom preparation. Applying your dilute vinegar solution at this stage helps set the soil pH for the entire growing season ahead. A second application can be made in early to mid-summer, around late June or early July, to maintain acidity through the peak blooming period. Apply in the early morning or late evening, when the sun is low and temperatures are cool. This gives the solution time to soak in gently without rapid evaporation. As for frequency, do not apply more than once every 4 to 6 weeks. Remember, the effect is temporary, but you do not want to keep hammering the soil with acid on a weekly basis. Once every month to month and a half is plenty. Over-application can strip beneficial soil bacteria and fungi that your hydrangea's roots depend on for nutrient exchange. So what can you realistically expect, and when will you see changes? Let me set honest expectations. You are not going to pour vinegar on a pink hydrangea on Monday and wake up to blue flowers on Friday. That's not how plant biology works. The changes are gradual, and they depend on the plant's growth cycle. Within the first 1 to 2 weeks after application, you probably won't see dramatic visible changes above ground. What's happening is underground. The soil pH is shifting slightly. Aluminum and iron are becoming more soluble. The roots are adjusting to the new chemistry. If your hydrangea was showing mild yellowing from iron chlorosis, you might start noticing the very faintest hint of green returning to the leaf tissue around day 10 to 14. By the 3 to 4 week mark, if you applied in early spring, the new leaves pushing out will look noticeably richer, deeper green. The overall vigor of the plant improves. Stems look sturdier. The foliage looks more hydrated and lush because nutrient uptake is more efficient in the corrected pH range. The real payoff comes at bloom time. If you've been consistent with spring and early summer applications, and your hydrangea variety is one that responds to aluminum, you'll see the flower buds developing with a distinctly deeper, more saturated color. Pinks shift toward mauve. Mauves shift toward purple. Purples shift toward that rich, true blue that hydrangea lovers dream about. This color transition happens over the course of the bloom development, typically 6 to 10 weeks after your first spring application, depending on your climate and variety. It's subtle, it's gradual, and it's deeply satisfying. You'll look at those blooms and know that a simple tablespoon of vinegar, applied with care, helped unlock that color from the soil. And that's the beauty of gardening, isn't it? These small, thoughtful actions compound over a season. You adjust one little variable, you pay attention, you stay consistent, and the plant rewards you in ways that genuinely make you stop and smile. If this video helped you understand your hydrangea a little better, if it saved you from accidentally burning your plant, or gave you the confidence to try something new in your garden, then do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button, tap the little bell so you get notified every time I post, and drop a comment below telling me whether your hydrangeas are blooming blue, pink, or somewhere in between. I read every single comment, and I love hearing from growers all over the world. Share this video with a friend who's been struggling with their hydrangea color. Help them out, and I'll see you in the next one, right here in the garden. Happy growing, everybody!